There is one sport where stopping for a meal has been written into the game.
So it's tea time and a bit of fielding practice going on down there with some of the Indian coaches.
And that is going to be tea. The bails are knocked off.
Delayed tea break here. But yes, during the tea break...
But it looks like it's an early tea.
So, at tea, England 166%.
And you also get a cup of tea. Off you go.
I'm Romy Gill, a chef and a broadcaster. And for this food programme, I'm going to be exploring the delicious world of cricket teas.
I mean, very civilised, isn't it? You know what I mean? We're out there all day. You've got to have a break a couple of times, haven't you? Just to refresh yourself and get a bit of fuel inside you.
People are embracing different food a lot more around the country, and certainly, you know, at the local community level, people are always open to trying different things. So that's what brings people in cricket together is those different communities and the opportunity to have different cuisine.
It almost ties in to the British love of tradition and the British ability not to take itself very seriously. The idea that you can be in the middle of an official sporting contest and taking 20 minutes or half an hour out to have donuts, banana and crisps, sandwiches, Dundee cake, Eton mess. The idea that someone could be sitting on a chair with a cigarette in one hand, a beer in another, and a large plate of strawberries and cream on their lap is absolutely ridiculous, but a true Brit understands it.
In a game lasting one day, the cricket tea break is often taken in the pause between teams batting. It typically lasts around 20 minutes or so and usually arrives at around, tea time. As to what food should be served, the jury is out.
I'm Kit Harris. I'm a cricket writer and broadcaster, but perhaps most importantly, I'm a team maker for a village cricket team in Surrey. Look, you are trespassing onto an incendiary area here. Everyone in cricket personally has their own idea about what must be on a tea. And in terms of afternoon tea debates, this is second only to jam or cream on top of a scone first. Incidentally, the cream goes on top, by the way. But I wouldn't dream to dictate to any club, any cricketer, and certainly not to a BBC Radio 4 listener, what has to be in a cricket tea.
For Kit, the importance of the cricket tea cannot be overstated. He thinks cricketers are far more obsessed by tea than they might dare to admit.
There are three questions that get asked by a club cricketer before they travel to an away game. One is, what are the opposition like? Two is, how am I getting there? And three is, what is the tea like? And at Shepperton, we've now actually got to the point where when we're arranging bilateral friendly games, we won't arrange a fixture with a team that does not do a tea when we go to visit them. Because what's the point? Whenever I win the toss in a friendly game of cricket on a Sunday, I always bowl first because I'm a bowler. I want to get my overs out of the way, do my bowling, and then come in and absolutely indulge myself to the hilt at tea so that I'm far too overladen to go and do anything afterwards. Heaven forbid that we ever have to bat first, because then I've got to go sparingly on the jam donuts and go out and bowl. That isn't just me. I've just spoken for hundreds and hundreds of recreational cricketers across the whole of the UK.
So, the food laid on in a cricket tea isn't for refreshment alone. It can also influence the way the game is played, and even if the opposition bother to turn up. Here's the former England cricket captain, Michael Vaughan.
I would argue that there was many a time when I was younger, that particularly on a Sunday afternoon, when I used to play for Sheffield Collegiate, that you would identify the away trip and you'd play on a Saturday, which was the Yorkshire League, but I would choose the Sunday game purely on if it was a good tea or not. So if the third 11 were going to just little villages in Derbyshire like Carver or Baslow, we knew which were the good teas and which weren't quite as good. And the odd Sunday we would miss because the teas weren't quite up to scratch. I think there's a few clubs now. I think you have to bring your packed lunch. Yeah. I mean, I actually think we should be campaigning on the streets to make sure that the cricket tea survives forever. We need to be walking the streets with our signs saying cricket teas forever. We can't get rid of the tea.
More from the Test match special team later. And when we are back at Lord's, we'll trace the history of the cricket tea back to Britain's imperial past. Today, club cricketers come from all kinds of different communities, and tea is a time for those communities to get together, whether it's with scones, jam and a cream, or a spicy stuffed paratha, or both. But with COVID, the cost of living, the supermarket meal deal, there are lots of challenges. And in some leagues, as we'll find in Bristol, the crockery and the cutlery have sadly been packed away for good. Let's start, though, in a rainy corner of West Yorkshire, and a league where tea has actually led to a revival of club cricket. We are at the Stainland Cricket Club near Leeds. It rained, but they are playing. You know, when I was growing up, this is how the cricket ground was, and it's taken me back to my roots. It's so, I cannot explain how emotional, and it makes me so happy to be here. That's a very good shot. What's your name?
My name's Oais.
Who's batting and who's bowling at the moment?
Stainland are batting
Yeah.
and Clayton are bowling. The conditions are good for bowling today.
He's very concentrating on the ball coming this side. I just saw you bowling. You're a really good bowler.
Yeah.
Are you like a fast bowler?
Yeah, left arm fast bowler.
Are you looking forward to the cricket tea later?
Yeah, I'm going to potentially eat a lot.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that part of the cricket?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind tucking into the teas.
Yeah. That's a 4? Yeah. I love it. For me, growing up in India, especially in West Bengal, cricket teas were such an important part of my growing up, because we looked forward to the sandwiches, the cream teas, and a lot of other things. It wasn't just about sandwiches, and the sandwiches made in the right way, the crust off and the fillings, you know, little things did matter a lot. And also this kind of reminds me of little, cricket ground surrounded by all the greens and in whites. So it kind of takes me back. With the match between Stainland and Clayton evenly poised and with the grey clouds gathering, I headed off to meet Trish in the clubhouse.
So, hi, I'm Trish Wood. I'm one of the trustees now at Stainland Cricket Club. In the past 12 years, I've been chair, secretary, general cook and bottle washer, gardener, everything.
So can I ask you a question? How did you think of starting this?
Unfortunately, exactly 12 years ago, almost 12 years ago, one of the club treasurer, Dave Weston, actually collared me in the playground. Our children were at school together, to inform me that the team had folded. And because we didn't have an active team down here, we were in, then it was owned by the council, was the ground, and we were facing eviction. So we've had a cricket club here since 1884. Dave's granddad and my dad played cricket together. Sadly, neither of them are no longer with us. And Dave just said, we can't let this happen. We can't let this go. It's got to carry on.
And together they set about reviving the club, having started with just 6 under-11 players, not even enough for a team. They now have a club with more than 100 members.
We found as well that because we've created like a family, community atmosphere, wives, girlfriends and daughters were coming with husbands, etc. And from that, we've now got an absolutely amazing women's team, women and girls team. We've got three women's and girls team, and they smash it every year. Yeah. They're a force to be reckoned with. And we've got, I think it's 5 or 6 junior teams. The first time Dave and I suggested trying to get this club running again, I was told cricket was a dead sport.
And food has been at the centre of that revival. Not only did Trish and her team reintroduce the tea, she has gone on to win an award, the Yorkshire Tea Award for Best Cricket Tea in 2023. Players are charged £6 a head, and the banquet is prepared by volunteers on a rota called Team Teas.
We try and do as much as we can that's homemade. but we are within a very strict budget. The team have been really supportive because they've committed to pay for a tea regardless of whether they have one or not, so we're covering the costs. Teas don't make any money for the club really, but it's not about making the money, it's about getting everybody together to eat.
And also the tradition, you're keeping it alive.
The best part of the day for us is standing in that kitchen doorway and just watching this plague of locusts descend on that table behind me, and it's just swept clean. It's very rare there's anything left. That's what it's all about.
It looks fabulous and I can't wait to taste it.
No, I hope you enjoy it. So we've not done anything different at all. This is what we get every week. So we've not added anything apart from pork pies, because Morrison's had a sale on pork pies last night, so I could fit it in the budget. So there'll be some happy faces when they see that there's pork pies. But other than that, everything's the same as it is every single week.
Pork pies, it's a British culture. You got to
and Branston pickle. Yeah. Pork pie
Can't
and
go
Branston
wrong with
pickle.
it.
No, absolutely not. I try and do something different every year, and this year I've actually found it's cheaper to make my own sausage rolls than to buy them, and they taste nicer. So.
Good idea.
I haven't perfected the vegetarian filling for that yet though, so I'll have to work on that one.
Good quality mushrooms.
Right.
And then you put some lentils in it.
I'm sticking with cheese and onion at the moment, but but I'll have a go with the mushroom one.
Outside the gloom gathers and a light rain starts to fall. So what's on the menu today?
So we have got spinach and sweet potato and chickpea curry with naan breads and rice. We have got homemade Yorkshire puddings with sausage and onion gravy and
I've got my name on it.
And a vegetarian gravy as well. What else have we got? Pizzas, which always go down well.
And I can see
Cheese and onion
some
rolls.
lovely cakes. And
So we've got Mason's speciality, fresh cream, Victoria and strawberry sandwich. We've got my much less impressive carrot cake muffins and a chocolate tray bake.
people can't see the cake. I'm eyeing it because the sponge is beautifully, it looks so appealing. It looks delectable is the right word. And I cannot wait to have a slice of that.
But the only thing is that Mason, it wells up when we cut into it because it obviously destroys his creation. so
beautiful creation.
He will never cut his own cakes, bless him.
He needs to go in the junior bake-off.
He does. We keep saying to him he does, but yeah.
Mason, who can't bear to cut his own cakes, is just 14 and I find him busy in the kitchen. Why do you like coming and helping here?
Always been a passion of mine for baking. I play up here for under 15s as well. So
You like playing cricket?
yeah, I love it.
Yeah?
I love bowling and then batting as well.
So what's in the oven here?
So we have just taken the pizzas out and then we've got tomato pasta bake, Yorkshire puddings, and then we've got garlic breads as well.
Oh, it's pouring down in rain, so all the players have come back inside and they're covering the pitch because they don't want that getting ruined, you know. This is perfect English weather.
Biblical rain, absolute biblical. And I need to get to Bolton Wanderers for 8 o'clock this evening, so if this rain could kindly go away, that'd be fantastic.
Tom, is this a code red for teas or?
I think it's set in for a bit. Right. It looks all right at Barkisland, but it might be a good half hour. Yeah. Depends on you. You're in charge, not me.
If you can give me 10 minutes, we're ready. If you want the tea now, it's up to you.
I'll have a word with umpires, but yeah, I'll see what they say. So we've decided we're going to have an early tea. So Clayton batting second have got to have at least 25 overs to bat to constitute a match. So if we don't get back on, game will just be abandoned anyway. But at least we're going to eat.
Right, everybody dig in. There's hot food at the bottom there. You've got sweet potato curry with spinach and chickpeas. You've got homemade Yorkshire puddings with onion and sausage gravy there. Please only take one plate. As soon as you've been fed, you can come back for seconds, but please make sure there's enough for everybody. Thank you.
That's superb, isn't it? It's all about cricket, certainly village cricket as well. You know, if you get a decent tea down here and look at that spread over there, it's fantastic. Cakes, buns, curry. What more do you want? What more can you ask for?
Oh, the sponge is lovely. Yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to all day. My name's Akmal, and at the club they call me Aki, so that's my nickname. And this is my second season at the club. The first season I was welcomed with open arms. After we've come off half time, once we've obviously batted or bowled, we come in and the teas are lovely. And obviously I halal, so everything's catered to me as well, so there's something for everyone.
So I'm captain of Stainland second team, Tom Jenkins. So I've only been here 3 years, and one of the reasons why I joined here was because of Trish's teas. I like my food.
Tom, just tell them what you told me about what batting order you go in, whether you bat or field first, depending on who's doing the tea.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm a bowler. So it's a nightmare for me now because I'm going to bowl after I've had one of Trish's teas. So, well, I'm also going to be very heavy as well. So, because I have cakes, I have sandwiches, you name it, I have it. So what I did last week, there was loads of cake left, so I plated it up, or Trish plated it up for me and I had it at the end of the game. If I'd have eaten everything, I wouldn't have been able to bowl. That's why I wanted to field first today. I'm also on the exec in the Halifax League as well, so a lot of feedback we get at league level is obviously good teas. There's a handful of clubs up and down the league that I would shout about the teas. Booth, Illingworth, Copley, ourselves, South Arham. We've got a vast amount of clubs that are brilliant at teas. Some just do the bare minimum. Trish goes above and beyond every single week. What we've done this year is we've made it mandatory for every home player to buy a tea, just to support Trish a bit more as well, because obviously costs have gone up. It must cost an absolute fortune for us, so we as a club made a decision that if you're in the home team, whether it be first team or second team, you have to buy a tea.
The revival of the cricket teas in Stainland has lifted the tea game elsewhere in the Halifax League. John Fuller covers club games for his website Cricket Yorkshire. He's also a judge for the Yorkshire Cricket Tea Awards.
There's such a diversity in terms of the food and the culture in Yorkshire, and teas are just part of it. And this being Yorkshire as well, it's extremely competitive. I'll tell you that. The first time I launched the cricket tea competition, loads of entries. And actually, I don't want to take credit myself, but I have been told it's driven up in some places the quality of the teas, because word gets around and one club says to another club, all right, we're going to enter, and suddenly, well, we should be entering as well. And then, when they're going to do an entry, they put in a special effort.
Up your game, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's lovely to see. I think in Yorkshire, both on and off the pitch, yeah, it's competitive in a good way. I think my travels around Yorkshire have shown me the diversity in terms of the food, actually, in terms of cricket. So somewhere here you'll have cakes, but you have home-cooked food, hot food, cold food, and real variety. You might go out into, say, a village in the Yorkshire Dales where it's very, what I would think of as traditional cricket tea, home-baked sandwiches and all of that stuff. But I live 15 minutes from Bradford and watch a lot of cricket in there. And in central Bradford, you'll just think of a club off the top of my head called Interlink, who are in central Bradford at Bradford Park Avenue. Mm-hmm. And they're a cricket club where at least once a year they'll have a community day where families will bring a dish from home that they'd cook anyway. And there's a real variety of that food. And I went along to enjoy that. And you'll have curries, you'll have all sorts of food that you wouldn't necessarily get in other parts of Yorkshire. So I love that, and that really excites me to see different food and also approaches to what a cricket tea looks like.
And also you have to understand now the cricketers are also from different parts of the world. So I think that also changes, the mentality changes, the food changes.
I couldn't agree more. I think that one of Yorkshire's superpowers is its diversity, and that comes through in terms of the food and the communities. In Yorkshire, the number varies depending on how you judge it, but very roughly, you might have 700 or 800 cricket clubs. I've probably only been to a quarter. Just within that, you see a huge variety of how people approach both cricket, but also the food and everything else that happens on a day. So, yeah, it's great. I love it.
John Fuller from Cricket Yorkshire. And despite the rain, a result was reached with Stainland's second 11 beating Clayton by just 5 runs with 2 balls to spare. What great drama after such a fantastic feast. It was so inspiring to see boys like Mason preparing the tea and to hear about the women and girls teams doing so well on the pitch. I was struck by Trish including Yorkshire puddings alongside her sizzling curries. The definition of what makes a cricket tee is broad. But at least there were cricket tees in West Yorkshire. Producer Robin Markwell found that wasn't the case in the west of England when he went to see another club fixture. In the Bristol and District Division 8 North, the Stoke Gifford first 11 were playing Frampton Cotterell's second 11.
Tail to this.
Yep.
We're going to field first. That's a ball first.
Yeah, not surprised. Not this way. It's Saturday afternoon on the outskirts of Bristol, and I'm at a place called Stoke Gifford on a historic ground, actually, and it's ringed by a relatively new housing estate, so they've had to put up a really big fence to stop the ball landing in people's gardens. The sun is out, there's a light breeze, and Stoke Gifford are out batting. But, unlike in other parts of the country, there is no cricket tee to look forward to between innings here.
Let's start then, boys. Let's be on it. On your toes.
I'm Ryan Edwards from Stoke Gifford Cricket Club. We haven't done cricket tees here for many years now. Across the board, since COVID, a lot of teams don't bother at all, really. Some grounds we do go to, they supply it for their home team only. And it's not really advertised as an away thing anymore. Generally, it's been phased out, really.
Do you miss it at all, the cricket tee?
I do, because I think we still stop for 20 minutes. And going back to previous years in advance, a long time ago, the league decided to stop the away team paying for tees. So the home team had to pay for all the tees and supply for both teams. But what that did in the end would mean that, for me as a captain, I'd always chat to the opposition captain. You'd obviously ask how much tees were, you'd pay your money, but you'd also say, we'd like a beer, which then meant the whole team would generally stay behind, and you mixed with the other team and had a chat, and you got to know people throughout the leagues. And when the league stopped the away team paying, it made it very easy for the away team to just pick their bags up and leave without having a beer, with not putting money over the bar into away clubs. And the whole art of conversation between the two teams and meeting people died a death, really, which was it's just sad, because I go back 30 years of cricket and know people all over the Bristol area, because in the old days we'd have a beer with them, and that was the final conversation cut off by not paying for teas.
My name's John Peplow. I'm the chair of the BDCA, Bristol District Cricket Association. There are over 80 clubs and nearly 187 teams in the league, so it's quite a big undertaking.
Cricket tees, what sort of health are they in your league?
The teams voted to stop doing them after COVID. At the AGM, it was put forward that we didn't have tees anymore, and they voted for that. However, some of the teams, some of the larger clubs still do tees. It's an optional thing.
Why do you think the vote went the way it did?
It's a lot of work, and it's very difficult to get volunteers. Some of the smaller teams don't have the facilities to produce the teas. We have lots of teams who come from different parts of the world. So the religious festivals, Ramadan, for instance, causes a problem sometimes because they're producing food but they're not eating it, and clubs have to accommodate. So I think it can be problematic. I think people's understanding of festivals within other people's religions has improved greatly, but they don't always know exactly what, for instance, I would imagine lots of people wouldn't be aware of what the halal meat is. Therefore, that could be a problem. And also, if you look at the teas, there's quite a lot of meat, pork pies, this sorts of things, which you don't want to offend people by producing the wrong types of foods. So there's also, one thing we haven't mentioned, is the cost. If you look at playing cricket now, it is an expensive game for clubs. And I know it's a tradition. There's the idea of 1940s sitting there watching cricket with cake stands. But cricket has moved on, and sadly, some of the old traditions go with it.
Is the game poorer without them, do you think?
No, I think personally, I'm an umpire, and I can take what I want to eat, and you'll find the players are the same. Obviously, I think meal deals have gone up Saturday lunchtime in the area. I think perhaps the only thing that is lost is that teams used to get together and sit down in a room halfway through a game and chat. And that doesn't happen now because teams tend to stay in their own area or go out on the pitch in their own groups, not in one room meeting each other.
Is it meal deals then that people are going
I'm just talking from myself there. Yeah, a lot do. I mean, I called into a shop I won't mention, and there were one player from Twyford House and 3 from Bradley Stoke in there when I got there on Saturday. So, yeah, I think they do quite well out of it.
So we've gone from a sort of communal cricket tea culture to more of an individualistic meal deal culture, where you choose. I mean, it reflects society in some ways, doesn't it?
Yes,
in that we've
it does,
become
yeah,
perhaps
very
more
much so.
selfish as a society.
Yeah, or I think it allows you to cater for what you want as well. I think people are far fussier in what they eat now than they used to be. Perhaps cake and fatty foods aren't the best, really. Sportsmen, sportswomen are really careful about what they eat. In many ways, it's becoming a thing of the past, but it's sadly missed by many.
John Peplow from the Bristol and District Cricket Association, where cricket teas are no longer compulsory. The home of cricket is Lord's in London. It is renowned for the standard of its catering.
I'm Jeremy Coney, and I've travelled a long way. I'm still in the lag of the jet at the moment. The food has kept me going, actually. The lunches are great, and so are the afternoon teas.
High up in the media centre, we discovered that when the commentators weren't talking about cricket, they were commentating on their colleagues taking tea.
As we look here now, we're sitting up above the remnants. There's Stephen Finn, 6'1", about to go to 6'3", by helping himself to 5 sandwiches. That's egg, I think, looking from here. We'll tell on his breath when he comes up to do some commentary beside me. There's the basket, of course, the hamper of scones on the right-hand side plain, on the left-hand side the fruit scone. Look, there's Harmy. Harmy's stalking. He's not quite so happy with the remnants there at the moment, so he's gone for, looks like the orange juice. Great. Oh, hang on, and I'll have a couple of biscuits. Oh, is it a handful? Yes, it is. There's ginger nuts. There's all sorts of things in there. There's the oatmeal. It looks like he's talking to Nasser Hussain. His bald pate gleaming.
My name's Isha Guha and I work for BBC Cricket on the TV highlights and also Test Match Special. I used to play, so I used to very much enjoy the teas. It was a bit budget back in the day at club level, so we used to have to make our own sandwiches and take them to the cricket. My mum was an amazing chef, Bengali background, so lots of incredible food that she used to cook up as well. Sometimes she would come to the ground and she would cook out the back of the car, and she'd get a proper stove, and then sometimes she'd make onion bhajis for everyone. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'm Alison Mitchell, Test Match Special commentator. Cricket teas are very evocative, actually, because my memories and my early cricketing upbringing, if you like, was around club cricket, where my dad played. My brother and I'd play on the edge of the boundary while the match was going on. Mum, in the classic way the women often did, my mum was helping to do the teas, and so tea was what we would help out with. It was where both teams came together around a table, despite what may or may not have happened on the pitch. It's making countless loaves of sandwiches. It's baking beautiful cakes. It's having a massive hot urn of boiling water for the cups of teas that the players would all want. It's then washing up crockery after crockery after crockery at the end in the little clubhouse kitchen out the back. And then I come to Lord's as a professional cricket commentator, and we're spoilt with scones and jams and cream, again, the most beautiful cakes, but it's a real part of the day. It really is. You go to India and the teas there will be that steaming sweet chai. There will be sort of hot drums with roti breads the smell of rotis being cooked and warmed is just out of this world. You can smell it long before you actually find where they're being served. Samosas. So different teas around the world mean very different things, but ultimately they are still all about a break in play, a lovely interval where actually you really do get to feel a flavour of the culture of the place that you're in.
Michael Vaughan, I used to play a bit of cricket a long time ago. I think it should be absolutely compulsory that people have a proper cricket tea, whatever the standard that you play.
I just love that. Man of my own. I'm a chef, actually. Yeah. So it's so important. The food has to be.
So in India, I go to Mumbai a lot. Tell me, I always forget it. There's a very special street food. It's like a fried potato that they put in a bun with a few... That's it.
It's fantastic,
isn't it? That's what we should bring to the UK for the tea.
Vada pav. The vada is a spicy potato fritter The pao is a soft bread bun that the bora is served inside, all with chutneys and chilies. It really is Indian street food at its finest. Around the Lord's ground and past the bands keeping the crowds entertained, I went looking for a story of how cricket teas began in this country. And it's not as English a tale as you might think.
I'm standing here at the Lord's Cricket Ground Museum. How can I explain? It's just wow, because we have so much history here. I can see the balls, I can see the trophies, I can see some of the books there and some paintings. You know, everything, a little part of cricket is in this museum.
So probably the most famous object in the museum, one a lot of people come in to see, is the Ashes urn, which is the symbol of the long-running rivalry on the cricket field between England and Australia.
Neil Robinson is the head of heritage and collections at Lord's.
Cricket's always been famous as a sport that pauses for meals, which not many others do, partly because it goes on all day and it's natural to want a bit of refreshment. The actual tea interval is quite a recent addition to the game. It wasn't mentioned in the laws of cricket until 1947, neither was the lunch interval. And the tea interval itself, everyone thinks of it as an English institution, afternoon tea, was actually invented by Australians. In the 1880s, it was introduced, I think the winter of 1881-82, into the Australian cricket season as a formal interval, which you can understand because obviously it's a much hotter climate and the players were obviously getting more dehydrated and needed more refreshment. And then subsequently, when the Australians toured in the 1890s, the captain, Joe Darling, wanted to make it a condition of each day's play that his players would have their tea interval. And that's really how it came into English cricket as a formal interval, although there are stories of cricketers like Arthur Shrewsbury, the great professional batsman of the 1880s, calling for a cup of tea to be sent out to him at various points during the day. But there was no formal tea interval before the very end of the 19th century.
So we should be thankful to the Australians then.
Yes, we absolutely should. They've played a major part in creating the game's traditions, just as the English have. Yeah. The food and drink surrounding cricket has always been part of the game's culture because the day goes on so long and players do need refreshments. I do actually have some examples here of the kind of food that was served over 50 years ago. In this folder I have some proposed menus that were sent by the firm that did the catering at Lord's for all the hospitality boxes. And it includes lunch and tea menus for every single day of the England v Australia Test match in 1968. The tea menu didn't change from day to day. It was exactly the same every day. There was a change in the lunch menu, but the tea was always Hovis and white bread and butter, preserves, so bread and jam essentially, followed by butterfruit scones, assorted dainty confectionery, fresh cream fancies and Indian tea. Which, you know, isn't too far from how we'd imagine afternoon tea these days.
We headed out of the Lord's Museum and over to the vast kitchens. There's a real bustle among the cooks as lunch is being prepared. Australians may have brought cricket teas to this country, and it was an Australian who ran the kitchen at Lord's. Carl Pearce is the executive chef and a keen cricketer himself.
It is controlled chaos, as it has to be. But, you know, having been here for 17 years, you know, that's the thrill, that's the energy, that's the passion behind what the team develops.
I feel you because I'm a chef.
Yeah.
I feel you very much. When it's chaotic, you are inside, your head is booming, your stomach is like, you know, you've got so much going on in your head, right? I feel you.
Yes, we have 22 kitchens here with 29 different offers. And we're feeding in the vicinity of about 6,500 people.
That's amazing.
That's through members, debentures, hospitality areas around the ground, with about 95 chefs on site. This is all ready to be prepared and delivered to the buffets.
In my mind, I had my sandwiches, this is just eye-opening. You have so many different cuisines from different parts of the world.
Well, certainly, as I've mentioned, you know, it's all about using the best produce, close to home, local, best of British, but naturally we try and, with our menus, theme them around the touring nations. People's expectations have grown when it comes to food. all those celebrity chefs on TV have sort of pushed everybody to deliver, expectation that, hey, we're at the cricket, but I want a restaurant experience as well.
I love the noise in the kitchen, isn't it fabulous?
Would you like to keep moving around? So what we've got here is our cold production and pastry. Okay, so down here we usually have about 10 chefs because that's all we can fit in. We go through in the vicinity of about 8,000 finger sandwiches per day. 6 to 8 different types, purely because, this day and age, dietary requirements, allergens, everything's got to be taken into account. Around 4,000 scones, plain and raisin, every day, and around 6,500 mini afternoon tea cakes. So split that by 3 because we have 3 types on our standard menu before we look at dietaries.
See, we have a different kind of finger sandwiches. We've got beetroot filling, we've got egg filling, we've got the cheese and cucumber in there. It's all different kind of dietary requirements, like Chef said. It's all going to different stands, is it?
For me, the finger sandwiches, the time of day, it's that relaxing feel. Cricket is a sport like no other. You get to experience breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea. You've got settled with really good company. There's nothing better. I've had, for some of my colleagues and friends that are not even cricket fans, just been experiencing a day at Lord's with what's on offer with the food, the entertainment, everything that goes into a day at the cricket at Lord's, and you've got time in a traditional sense.
I'm Thierry. I'm running the pastry section at Lord's for a few years now. It's something you don't find anywhere else, especially as a French. We don't know those things. So through the number of years I've been in England, I've learned how to enjoy. It's something really special, really. You got the scones, afternoon tea, sandwiches. So it's a huge thing, basically.
It's synonymous with cricket, the afternoon tea. As we said, cricket can, in its traditional form, is such a long day. And by that stage, people are relaxed. They just want some mini bites, mini cakes, tarts. When you think hamper, picnic, afternoon tea, that's very traditionally English, isn't it? British.
So what makes a good cricket tea?
Freshness and quality of product, and ultimately giving yourself a variety of things. I'm not a big egg and cress fan, but the next person along the line loves egg and cress, or a ham, or we take into our dietaries and religious beliefs, so we'll put a chicken and tarragon within our selection. We might use smoked trout and alternate that with some poached salmon or some smoked salmon. You can have a little nibble of multiple things. If you go back in time, then it very much was about pork pies and maybe, hot chocolates and things. Now, naturally, the players are under stricter guidance with nutritional needs and performance and rehabilitation and recovery from, a big day out there on the pitch. They have constraints, but for us, there's not many constraints. You could ask any county international player that comes to Lord's, and some of them might even joke that they just want to get in the team to play at Lord's, not only to play on that hallowed turf, but also to be fed by Andy and his team.
Okay, if the team comes from different parts of the world, so the food is also important for you to cook for them as well. Do you keep the dietary or variety for them as well, or is it just standard?
But naturally, we get briefing sheets through the nutritionists, and then we try and adapt. And, there is a wide selection up there. So when India come, for instance, there'll be extra curries naturally. But, if we're working with a meat, a fish, a vegetarian and a vegan option, and then family service of other vegetables and things, we can accommodate generally a nice broad range of dishes that suit everybody's needs.
I am really excited to try the cricket bowl. Chef, what's in this?
So we've got what we call a cricket bowl millionaire. So it's a salted caramel mousse, which brings a lot of flavor with the chocolate. And so you got a little saltiness, the sweetness of the white chocolate, and a little sablé on the bottom. Texture, flavor, bit of a kick with the salt.
Full of different flavors, and my mouth is singing now. It's gorgeous.
There's one key person associated with cricket that we have not heard from until now. Let's finish with a word from the BBC cricket commentator Jonathan Agnew, who is very specific about his ideal cricket tea.
Has to have cheese and pickle sandwiches. Pickle's most important. And definitely, look, I'm from Melton Mowbray, so it has to have pork pie. It has to be Melton Mowbray pork pie and Stilton cheese. As long as those elements are there, that it's good enough for me. I don't think there are any rules. I mean, these days you've got to be obviously respectful of people's culinary regimens, if you like, what people can and can't eat. And there's probably rather more in terms of allergies these days when we just piled into whatever was on the plate. You know, I would like to see food play more of a part, because in my part of the world you have a lot of like farmers teams, village teams, white players playing against often sort of itinerant Asian teams in particular, and so actually food should play a really important part in that. And increasingly it doesn't seem to happen. I think people are a bit scared to produce food that the opposition might not want to eat, or whatever it may be. So I watched a game recently my stepson was playing in, and it was like the two teams never actually socialised. And I was just crying out for the local team that my stepson was playing in to have actually made a bit more of an effort. You know, to have got some food that the visitors would have enjoyed. Get to the local Indian and get some bhajis out. It was the last game of the season, after all, and it could have been really good fun. But more important, it would have brought the teams together rather than this feeling of them being separated. And so that, again, is why I think it's critical. If we can come to some way in which all players of all creeds and colours and everything else can actually enjoy getting together and sitting down over a meal, what better way is there to encourage respect and actually to encourage relations?
Jonathan Agnew summing it up perfectly. The cricket tea can divide teams with worries over what to serve and how we serve it. And in many cases, a ritual put on pause during the pandemic has now been sadly abandoned altogether. But done well, as Trish Wood and Team Teas showed us so wonderfully in West Yorkshire. Cricket teas perfectly demonstrate the power of food, not just as a source of nutrition, but as a way of uniting us. However it's taken and whatever is served up, I hope this curious English custom that came in from Australia keeps uniting both players and spectators for as long as there is cricket.
Hello, I'm David Baddiel, and from Radio 4 and the History Podcast, I'm hosting 60 Years of Hurt, a series about football and Englishness, in which we try and define what Englishness actually is via the roller coaster history of the England men's football team. It includes contributions from various English gentlemen and women, Stephen Fry, David Seaman, England sports psychologist Pippa Grange, and many others. England may or may not win the World Cup in 2026, but maybe you'll find out why it means so much to us as a country that they might do. Listen to 60 Years of Hurt on BBC Sounds.